it's making me sound older than I am. I mean, I was playing in the 60s when that was built. I was playing with Tonka trucks. But over the years, I've had to look through a lot of those plans, figure out structural details, and start to memorize them after a while. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to come visit with you today and talk a little bit about NTTA, some of the things that we're doing and where we're headed. So I'm pretty sure all of y'all are very familiar with NTTA, so I'm not going to go into the standard marketing spiel our communications group wants of, who is NTTA, why are we here, what do we do, all those aspects. So rather than that, I figured I would kind of kick it off with a little bit of some of kind of the fast facts, and some of the things that you may not be as aware of in how NTTA has been growing to meet the region's transportation needs. I mean, I do have been fortunate to have a long history working with the organization. In fact, 86, when I came out of school, the Dallas North Tollway stopped at 635. So been fortunate to have had a part in almost all of the tollway system development here in North Texas. But if you just look at the last 20 years, you can see up here on this chart how the system has been growing in terms of what we're bringing as transportation resource to the region, but also it translates into significant growth in the transactions, volumes of traffic that we're handling. And we're 20 years ago, we were at 500,000 toll tags. We're over 6 million toll tags out there, for example, currently. So when you translate that into some more regular numbers, we're processing 2.8 million toll transactions a day. Now, this is not just on the NTTA toll roads. We are also provide all the transaction processing for the managed lane systems here through North Texas. So that's LBJ Express, North Tarrant Express. We do the toll tag transaction processing at DFW Airport, Love Field. And we actually even do it for Northeast Texas Net RMA in Tyler. We process their toll transactions. So we're significant volume transactions to do. Now, just because it's a lot electronic, got rid of the booths, we still touch our customers a lot. We touch our 14 million customer contacts per year. That's through website, phone call, walk up. So customer service is a very big part of what we do. We're very proud that we've gotten one of the J.D. Powers awards for being some of the best in customer service in what we do. And that's translated into that very high customer satisfaction rating. So get into a little bit of the meat presentation, and I want to focus, I'm going to come back to this, the NTTA mission. This is our mission statement, one of those things that governs a lot we do, but I'm going to pick a little bit of that apart. Safe and reliable toll road system. Safety is a very big part of what we do. And you were here for the morning presentation. You heard Eric Hemphill talk about some of the vehicle incident detection, safety aspects, how we're continuing to improve and bring safety, what we do to our customers. Safety touches a number of areas and regions. For you, as the drivers on our system, we take the safety quite important. We have a 24/7, 365 dispatch center that we operate. 911 call comes in. If it's on for something on our roadway, it routes to our dispatch center. Our dispatch then they dispatch roadway customer service, police, and the other services that may be needed on the roadway. You have a direct access to that safety also, and where it's especially important, whether you see something on the roadway that's potentially dangerous, stalled vehicle, debris, or you yourself have a problem on the vehicle with your car. Pound 999, very simple to dial, will get you to our dispatch, and they can dispatch, let's say, the roadway customer service to you. We will change your tire. We'll give you a gallon of gas. We'll get your vehicle towed off the road. And we guarantee we will be there before AAA is. In fact, our average incident clearance is 17 minutes. That's not just to show up, that's to get you on your way or off the road on that. You can't remember pound 999, just look at the back of your toll tag. The number's there too. So, but again, safety is something we take quite medicine. Well, I'm going to focus a little bit more on safety in the work zone. That's one of those elements that's near and dear to me. Is we've had a lot of construction work underway over the years, and we're going to continue to do so. And for example, many of the recent projects have been widening and expanding our existing roadways. And so we're not only trying to keep our customers, the drivers on the roadway safe, but also the workers. You know, it's scary working up next to 70-mile-an-hour traffic on that. And so positive protection and those type of aspects is a big part of where we invest monies in safety. For example, some of what we do, this is actually used by our maintenance crews, our total routine maintenance contractor. It's a mobile barrier trailer. We were one of the first to bring that to the North Texas region. On that, we have 4 of these trailers. This provides a positive protected work zone for workers that need to be doing some repair or such out on the roadway. Pulled by standard tractor, road tractor. This unit again provides that safety. It's equipped with attenuator on the end, flashing lights, even deployed speed feedback on it, which we found has been very positive in reducing speeds on that. And it's been, you know, that is continued elsewhere. You know, City of Carrollton now uses this device. We've seen this at TxDOT is also starting to use it. You know, obviously keeping up with state-of-the-art safety equipment on our maintenance vehicles and requiring our contractors to do the same, but then also using some of these tools to help keep and reduce the amount of feet on the ground, like you see on the bottom right there. There you've got a device that's putting down rumble strips, automated. Let's both put them down on the road, pick them back up to help warn of that there's work going on ahead. The top right, movable barrier, similar. Most of you've seen the zipper barrier on I-30 that's used, that DART uses. We've deployed this on multiple construction projects, primarily on the Dallas North Tollway, to provide a positive work zone, positively protected work zone for our contractors, but also to be able to move that during the day so that we can restore roadway capacity and have maximum capacity when the contractor is not out there. Been a very successful tool, and we've actually had a number of agencies from around the country that have we've talked with, exploring how they can use that more in their deployment of construction projects. And then one of the ones that's been kind of one of our brainchilds that we have incorporated here, you may have seen, is the use of orange striping in the construction work zone. This kind of started as had a little side comment made by one of our directors. He'd seen some orange striping up in California, I'm sorry, in Canada, where they've done it. And so we kind of took that idea, ran with it, one of those Friday evening brainstorming sessions. And let's combine several aspects. Let's look at doing orange striping. Let's add a profile element to it. Let's tactile. We get too many drivers out there driving by braille. They're distracted on that. And avoiding that to improve safety, greater awareness. And it's working well. FHWA, it's not part of the MUTCD toolkit. So we worked with FHWA under a pilot project, partnered with TTI as we've been studying the effectiveness of this, and now deployed it in several roadway projects. Most been recently used on the Sam Rayburn, just most recently up on the Dallas North Tollway, where we have major lane shifts to again raise awareness. We've gotten great customer feedback on this. People are definitely noticing it. They're seeing it. The study work that TTI has done shows that we're actually getting better lane placement consistency by our drivers on that. So we think it's very positive. We're going to continue to use it. It brings some challenges. Yes, we're not getting quite the life out of that orange stripe that we would like, and it tends to lose retroreflectivity. But generally, your construction striping is in place for a relatively short duration. So we still think we got a good tool there to use. So we get back to the mission that we talked about, safety. Well, now let's talk about meeting the regional needs for transportation. And that's a big part of what the toll road system has been, an additional funding tool that's helped bring needed transportation to the region. And that's a big part of what we continue to do. So when we look at how the roadways are funded and such, this chart kind of shows you where the dollar comes from. You know, we're operating on about right now a $1 billion annual budget in terms of income that comes in from tolls. The first quarter of that money is spent on operation and maintenance. Some of the safety items, such like I just showed you, the obviously our staff that's developing, maintaining, supporting the projects on that, and our bondholders are definitely looking that we do have a priority on operation and maintenance because they want that facility to stay in good condition for the life of the bonds. Well over half of the money does go back to paying bonds. We have $9.5 billion in outstanding bonds currently. And you might think, well, that's easy. You got $1 billion income, not that big a problem. Let me put it in the numbers you can understand that we can understand better. Take 4 zeros off for each of those. It's like having a $950,000 mortgage on a $100,000 income. It can be a little challenging. So we do watch the finances tightly. But we've been fortunate that traffic is back we saw a significant dip with COVID. We're actually ahead of our pre-COVID numbers in terms of traffic having come back, except for the south end of the DMT, which has been an interesting phenomenon. It hasn't come all the way back, but that is help bring additional money to the system. And that's what we're using to fund our capital maintenance and capital improvements to the system. So say that in that operation maintenance portion, maintaining our system is a first focus that we have. And this is largely our staff and our maintenance contractors doing everything from mowing the grass, picking up litters to routine repairs on the system, keeping in good shape. But then we also look at, programming, what are the big improvements we want to do? And that's driven by a rotating 5-year capital plan that we have, that as we look at what are the big rehabilitation projects we need to do, and then where can we expand and grow the system. So when you look at the NTTA facility map, and you can see on this that any of those areas in green or so are things that we're going to be touching over the next 5 years. Hopefully everybody is appreciative of the widening projects we've done on like the Bush Turnpike and Sam Rayburn and Dallas North Tollway over the last 5 to 7 years. Now it's time to start looking at growing the system further. We've had great success this year. We've just in October, opened up future frontage road for the Dallas North Tollway all the way to the Grayson County line. That's how far we've extended, well past the limits of the main lanes, Grayson County, County Road 60, setting that footprint for the future Dallas North Tollway. Been up to the north end of Frisco. See, we've been building the interchange and bridge main lane extension over 380. That project's coming along very well. We should be open to traffic by March of next year on that, helping to open up the growth further into Prosper and Salina. In fact, the growth that's been occurring up north is one of the reasons we continue looking to expand. Dallas North Tollway through Frisco opened in 2007. We're at capacity on it. And so now we're widening that. That's project commenced this fall, 3-year project to widen the Dallas North Tollway through Frisco from Sam Rayburn to 380, 4 lanes in each direction. Also partnered close with City of Frisco to help open up additional economic development with Fields Parkway, moving the old one single span bridge that was County Road 24. This is going to become a new full interchange for Fields Parkway on that. So work is progressing up there. But then where are we headed from here? Well, we've got the next extension of the Dallas North Tollway in design. We're about 60% complete on that design at this point. And this is to extend the Dallas North Tollway up into Salina at FM 428. So approximately 6 miles headed further north. This is going to translate into, for those of y'all in the room that are in materials testing and C&I services, will be opportunities coming out middle of next year for that as we look to start this construction in the beginning of 2024 on there. Other portions of the system, we've been asked to look at how can we extend the Bush Turnpike over on the east side from Interstate 30 in Garland, extending it all the way down to Interstate 20. So this is a full-blown environmental impact statement. East Branch, those of you in the transportation circles have been hearing about this one for years. And yes, it does take years to bring a road from concept to fruition on it. TxDOT had been the lead on it. It installed, for some reason, toll is a 4-letter word to our governor. And that's impacts on where TxDOT can take leadership in developing toll projects. Fortunately, we've been able to take over, bringing this back to life and moving forward. And this is a project that's in basically our 10-year plan to bring this all the way forward to completion. Out on the street right now is an RFQ to widen the Chisholm Trail in Johnson County. We built a Super 2 there in 2014 that opened in 2014. Growth in Johnson County just blossomed after that roadway was built. And we see the need now to bring in the other half of that. If you're not aware of this RFQ already, you're a little bit late to the table because those are due next week. So, but there are going to be other opportunities. The 360 elbow been on the regional plan for a while. I remember talking about this one probably 15 years ago when we started to come up with the concept to connect the Bush Turnpike to the 360 Tollway. That should begin about middle of next year. We look to do that, threading that in the I-20 corridor, meshing it in with the work that TxDOT is doing as they're looking at expanding Interstate 20. And then let's talk also, well, we're talking on 360 Tollway. Now, that just opened a couple years ago. But now looking at what's that next extension. Growth is definitely occurring in the Mansfield areas and to the south. We want to get in there and get a corridor defined so that we can be preserved for into the future. Timing on a roadway, not really known yet. Again, it's chicken and egg. We've got a certain amount of growth. To justify bringing a toll road, we build a toll road and even more people come. So where that timing going to be, we're not sure, but we want to get a corridor defined. It's a big triangular shape right there. Yes, we know where we're going to tie in at the north end at 287, but we got to tie in somewhere on 67. And that's truly what this project will be. Full EIS corridor route analysis, determine where that corridor comes in somewhere along the Venus area along US 67. So you see there's, a number of opportunities. In fact, here I've kind of got a list of all the opportunities that we're going to be putting out in 2023. So there's a few other projects that I hadn't talked about, like lighting design on Sam Rayburn Tollway. Fort Worth has asked us to build a new interchange at Worth Creek Parkway. Worth Creek Parkway, where is that? Well, it's not on a map. It is going to be an interchange that basically will provide access to the new Tarleton State campus and the development that's opening that area north of FM 1187 in Fort Worth. So I think we're going to have some significant opportunities. Definitely encourage you that, you know, come talk to us. If you're interested in this work, it's very easy to visit before the RFQ comes out. Much harder to talk to you once the RFQ is on the street. So myself, Kelly Johnson, leads a lot our design and planning efforts. We're happy to visit with folks as you're interested in learning more about the projects, and as well, make sure you quiz us on, you know, what are we looking for in that response, you know, and as that response to the RFQ. We do the challenge we have as an organization, I'll tell you, is we do debriefs with consultants after firms. It means the responses keep getting better. It gets harder and harder for us to pick. So, you know, big part of, as you're putting your responses together, you know, find out what our hot buttons are, what are the issues, and then how can you be part of the solution? We don't need a checklist of qualifications. It's not TechStop buzzword bingo. It's, you know, think about it a little bit, you know, where do you bring value so that, because every one of y'all are in qualified firms in this region. How do we pick you amongst that whole group and get the best of the best? That's what we're after when we select firms. So with that, I appreciate the opportunity to come speak and be happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let me break that one down into a couple pieces on it. I mean, the way NTTA as or agency of the state, we're very much been bound to date through traditional funding methods, selling bonds, and that in turn using to pay for the design and construction, retiring it through the collection of debt. TxDOT, working with the legislatures, more than a decade ago now, was able to further the comprehensive development agreement approach, which really became a public-private partnership, and it allowed third parties to bring investment money to the table. There's a difference between, you know, having money to invest and then looking for a return versus having to go borrow money and build a structure. So this has become another tool in the toolbox. There's been good that's come out of this, you know, in terms of what we've seen with LBJ, North Texas Express. There's also, you know, been many people that have had concerns about, you know, the high tolls on the time of day toll and such that heard on those vehicles. So my understanding is at this point, there's not a lot of interest in continuing that model. As we see, you know, transportation challenges, we may see that coming back, but through the work our legislature has done to help identify some alternate funding vehicles, especially now with increasing fuel severance tax, gas and oil severance taxes that's dedicated to transportation, and some of the allocations of monies that normally would go to the rainy day fund. We're doing a good job bringing transportation funds to the state. Will it meet all the needs? No, but it's in pretty good shape right now.
And just a reminder, if you could raise your hand, I will bring the microphone to you for Q&A.
Okay, I'm sorry about this question if it's not appropriate, but what kind of foreign investment do we have in this total money that are used by NTTA? Did you hear me?
Let me see if let me repeat back. Says you're kind of asking what kind of foreign investment do we see in the transportation system or the toll road system? Well, from the toll road perspective, NTTA, any direct foreign investment, zero. Now we sell those $9.5 billion in bonds. They're sold in New York, but through the Securities and Exchange Commission. There may be some foreign purchasers of those bonds, but again, it is an independent bond vehicle on it. Generally, our bonds are very actively subscribed. They tend to be large institutional investors that buy those. There's some individuals that do, Now, what we've seen in the comprehensive development agreements, just talked about earlier, that's the LBJ Express, the North Tarrant Express, Pro Real Agramon, also known as Centra, Spain, the Spanish consortium. They brought money to the United States to invest in building in the roads. So, one aspect is, yes, we have foreign investment. They can't take that money and take it home with them. They're not going to pack up that road and take it home. So they have invested that in this area. Yes, they are looking for a return on that investment. The return governed, I'm not real sure. There are definitely some limitations, for example, that they're setting how high the tolls can be. Those are set, the regional pricing models as driven by the North Central Council of Governments does control maximum toll rates that can be used. The rulings, and the toll rates are driven by trying to guarantee a certain delivery time or, transportation time on the roadway, minimum 50 miles an hour. So, but I'm not sure if that answers your questions because you're a little bit beyond my expertise there. Yes, sir.
The first toll road that I can remember is the Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike. It might be the first in Texas. And the rule was then, when it was paid for, it became free. Okay, now your figures showed that 25% of what you do is maintenance and operation. Okay, when the road is paid for, does the toll drop down to 25%? Or you go keep on going until you pave the world?
Not an uncommon question. When are the tolls coming off the road? Simple answer is never. Yes, the DFW Turnpike was one of the early toll roads. I mean, I'd argue there was been some older, I worked on the Waco Suspension Bridge. That was turn of the 19th century, was toll bridge crosses Brazos River. So we've got, a longer history of some toll facilities in the state. But when the DFW Turnpike was built, one of the specific requirements was that once the bonds were paid off, that road would revert to the state. Now, did the road become free? No, it's being supported by gas tax dollars. And, it's taken a lot of time for TxDOT to have the funds to invest in it, to expand that roadway. There's still portions of the old 1954 system that are still visible on that. That same ruling did not apply on the other toll roads. And I'm going to argue there's a couple things of it. If you pay off your house, is it free? You still have your utility bills, repairs, and usually by that time, repairs become significant on that. Take the Dallas North Toll, the oldest portion of the Dallas North Tollway as an account. Originally built for $35 million, Dallas North from downtown up to 635. And the 20 years plus that I've been with NTTA, we've invested well over $200 million in that roadway in rehabilitation and improvements. That's not just operation and maintenance. That's been over and above operations and maintenance, been repair and rehabilitation. So, and we're seeing a lot of aging infrastructure issues down there where we're going to be spending millions more in the next 5 years and beyond to keep that facility operating. So, yes, sir. And we're paying, that capital plan is funding that rehabilitation as well as expansion and improvements. We're looking at improvements right now on the Dallas North Tollway that in the next 10 years, we're likely to be replacing many of the bridges. We've been doing bridge deck overlays. Got one bridge in Highland Park right now that we got to completely remove and replace the deck on. Long-term, looking at replacing the ramps down to I-35 on that. That's a $100 million project in itself on that. So there's going to be reinvestment throughout the system. And as our debt load goes down, Hopefully it's going to offer opportunities, either one for the organization to be able to borrow more money to bring more transportation to the region, or to be able to accelerate and deliver other projects through cash flow.
Next question.
Over the past few years, we've been hearing a lot about wrong way drivers on roads. And I was wondering if has been a significant problem on your facilities, and are there any new ideas or plans coming up to try to prevent that?
One-way drivers on that, and you missed probably a very good presentation at 11 o'clock focused specifically on that. But yes, it is something we're aware of. It is a statewide and nationwide problem. We measured a significant number of wrong-way drivers on our roadways. And while statistics make it look like they're higher on NTTA's roadways than on TxDOT's, it's because we know about every one of them due to all the technology we have. TxDOT doesn't have a way to measure them, so their measurement has been based more on how many have become crashes on that. It is a problem that we have. We've been working actively in that systems. Every toll gantry has intelligence on it. We can detect wrong way driving. That's promptly flashed into our command center so that we can take active measures. We've been doing significant structural improvements through flashing lights, beacons, aspects at number of ramp locations and such, especially where we have a higher prevalence of this, such as the south end of the DNT. And, we're actively got in design, put wrong way driver feedback systems in place at every single ramp on our system. Over 270 ramps that we will be over the next few years in doing it. The first ones are going to be Dallas North Tollway and Chisholm Trail. So it's something we take very seriously. Our staff and our traffic incident management group is part of a nationwide program. And I can tell you that we've had a lot of people come look to us to see what we're doing because we feel we're on the forefront.